Hey, it's TimeSpark11, and a while back I had a video on blade availability in Xenoblade 2, which went over a few things such as combining certain blades into others, since there's a lot of them, and some of them really don't need to exist because they're just outclassed by others, and other blades that could be found places instead of being gacha blades, and changing some weapon types of others. So that led off into the Blade Buff series. I'll still be continuing the Blade Buff series, but first I wanted to get to this. So what if there was no gacha mechanic for rare blades in Xenoblade 2 at all? What if every single rare blade was found through means like Cassandra or quests like Vess, Praxis, and Theory? So today I'll be going over where each rare blade that is a gacha blade could be found if there was no gacha mechanic and they were just found through other means like quests. And the gacha mechanic could just be for common blades instead. So this will be giving a little more backstory to each blade, a potential backstory, because a lot of them could use a bit more of that. So ones like Shiba, they have some backstory already, and I feel like more blades should have been like that, where there was just backstory to finding them. So the first one would be Boreass. I'll also be going over them in order of region. So Boreass could be found in the Goldmouth warehouse. It would make sense to have him obtained here. It's already involved in him, with his quest and stuff, and his whole chart, actually. So he could be obtained in the chest when you first get here. The backstory of why he's here could be that the previous owner of the warehouse had Boreass, and he ate them out of house and home. He ate everything. He cost them their life savings. All they had left was this empty warehouse and Boreass himself, and they couldn't eat, so they passed away and left the warehouse for the next person to buy. Where that Nopon, who, I forget, did the Nopon actually own it, or was he just like a landlord of the place? Well, whatever, it would then be left to that Nopon to find a new person to buy it. All thanks to Boreass eating too much. Yeah, the Adorable Blade needs a dark backstory. When you really think about Boreass' existence, it is dark how much he eats. So he deserves a dark backstory to it. Next is Cora. Cora can be obtained from the cosmetic shop here. Just have the person who runs it give it to you. Or you could buy it from her. Either one works. She gives it to Rex or sells it to Rex, because Rex knows everyone in Argentum, and he's the driver now, so he can take the Cora off their hands. Could have been the blade of the previous owner, their mother, or whoever previously owned it. It would make sense for Cora to have been the blade of a cosmetic shop owner. It would explain her whole personality. Next up, Gormat. So Nim could be obtained in Dawnview Grotto here. Fitting for her, she's nature themed. It's a nice natural place. Just fitting to have Nim found in a chest here. No real backstory to it, because Nim doesn't have much to her. And then Vale. Vale could be found in the big spider cave here. Would make sense to have her found in a dark place. It could just be assumed that she wanted to hang out in a dark place, made her previous driver go there, and that was history. Because there is high-level giant spiders there. And then lastly, for Gormat, we could have Ursula obtained in the lower levels of Gormat and the lower levels of Torgoth. Either have an NPC give it to you as a core, or just find the core in a chest somewhere, and then have an NPC mention something about It could be info that you find first before you could find the core. Info that says something about how there was a musician that lived down here. They never made it as a musician because they had too much social anxiety, and that would explain Ursula's whole personality. And they eventually just passed away without ever becoming a full-fledged professional musician. But that dream lives on with Ursula, whose quest pretty much involves her becoming a professional musician, even though it's only a crowd of like 5 people when it's supposed to be a concert of thousands. How does that make any sense? But yeah, have Ursula obtained in Lower Gormat here. That would be a fitting place for her, especially since her quest starts in Gormat. Next up, Fonsamima, or Fonsamima, I forget. Was it Fonsamima or Fonsamima? I think they only say it like once in the story. So continuing off of the original video on blade availability, with combining blades, if there's one constant in every single video on rebalancing blades in Xenoblade 2 I've made, it is this. Remove Godfrey from the game! Godfrey does not need to exist. He's so completely useless. And kind of annoying, too. So, his quest is good, though. We could have his quest start at the normal time in Chapter 6. I think it's Chapter 6 when you get the quest. Have the quest start at any point during the quest, because it doesn't even need to be a blade quest. It's just a pretty good quest on its own that already fits into the main story without having any blade involved. You get Perun's core crystal at any point during the quest. Could be at the end. She could be the blade that belongs to the boss of the quest, and after you defeat him, you get Perun. Perun can still have her own quest afterwards. Just have Perun obtained in that quest in some way. And then also in Fonsamima, have Florin found somewhere around here, just buried in the ground in a chest. Would be a fitting place for Florin to be in a garden area like this with all the Saffronia trees. Blossom Shade Cliff. Have him found underneath this tree or something. Get his core there. And then another with condensing blades into each other. Agate and Dagas. So we could have Agate and Dagas combined into a single blade, because Agate is just worse Dagas. Same skill, but way less effect. So combine them into the same blade because she's completely outclassed and doesn't need to exist. Doesn't really matter which one you keep as the actual character, but you could pretty easily combine them into a single blade, give them a more fleshed out story between them, with Dagas' whole thing of being a jerk, and Agate's thing of being really into minerals. Because Dagas already has mineralogy himself, so pretty easy, I think, to combine them into the same blade, and then have the core obtained in the quarry here, and then the quest. You could pretty easily combine their quest too, because Agate's quest is essentially meaningless. It's just meaningless. And they both involve excavating in all the different regions. So mainly it would be Dagas' quest, but you could throw in a few elements of Agate's quest in there too. And just have their core obtained in the quarry here somewhere. So there will be 2 parts to this. I think I mentioned that in the beginning. If not, there will be 2 parts of this. So part 2 will be going on from More Ordain, what blades you could obtain from there, and probably going up to... That'll probably cover all of them. I don't think I'll need to make 3 parts. So part 2 will be covering blades that can be found in More Ordain and the other regions. So, see you next time!